What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski and I'm back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And in today's video, we're going to be doing a full-on playthrough through the brand new treasure map, Sabo. So this just came out, I think, just over a day or so now. And in this video, we're just going to be playing through just a regular run of what I would be playing through when I go through this Sabo-specific treasure map. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and check out the ranking rewards. Now, unfortunately for us, they have still gone ahead and given us the same exact amount of tablet rewards as we would normally get. So if you go and get first place, you only get 10 of these tablets. So hopefully from the next treasure map, these can be upgraded so we can get even more rewards for ranking in certain positions. Because like if you rank in like the top like 250, you'll get like 20 of each tablet, which is pretty goddamn crazy. I think first place gets like 30 to 35 tablets or something like that, because tablets are really hard to get in the game on global specifically, and it would be nice if we can get a little bit more. So hopefully they can go ahead and update that relatively soon. So let's go ahead and get straight into the treasure rewards as well. This is also something else I really wanted to touch up on. If you guys have not farmed or accidentally did not max out your treasure map Mihawk, this is a good opportunity to do so, because as you get your rewards, you'll be seeing that you will be getting some really nice rewards. Where are they? I can't find them. You see here that you can get Mihawk crystals. These specific crystals are used to limit break Mihawk. So if you were unable to max limit break your Mihawk when he first came around, this is a good opportunity to do so, because if you farm all the way up to 1 million, you'll get all of his stuff. However, what will happen is after you get to 1 million points on Sabo, wherever that is, and then you get to 1.5 million, you will be given 50 copies of this Mihawk. So once you get to 1.5 million points, you will go and be able to completely limit break and max socket your Mihawk and max special your Mihawk. So make sure, if you guys haven't done it, to make sure to go ahead and do that. But without further ado, guys, let's actually get into this specific farm against this specific treasure map. Now, you can see right here that my navigation level is navigation level 31, so obviously I have been playing quite a lot. Unfortunately, I did screw up one of my runs and I had to leave the run because I used the wrong team. So it completely screwed up my entire run, so I really should be 5 levels above where I am right now. But I'm still doing quite well, as you can see, rank 79 right now, so I'm doing reasonably well, and it's, only, just past the second day of the treasure map now, so, we're doing reasonably well. However, I'm not really too sure, personally, how much I want to farm this specific treasure map. So we actually got the map where we verse all the mini-bosses along the way, which is really good for us, because, you get more points this way, versing all the mini-bosses along the way, getting a 5 as we start off, giving us the cooldown buff as we move on to the first boss, so that's going to be great. So what we're going to be doing is, we're going to verse all of these miniature bosses. I'll just like speed through them. I'm not really going to be talking through the mini bosses, but once we get to the final bosses, that's where I'm going to be going ahead and doing some explanations about what the bosses do. If you guys haven't already seen my video previously, make sure to go ahead and watch the previous video, which should be up in the corner there, about the preparation for this specific treasure map. So all of my mid-map teams utilize the exact same team, against every single boss, and really, a lot of people will ask, what team should I use for the mid-map in all these treasure maps? You just literally chuck all the units in your team that have really high point boost in the trusty list. Now, that's, sometimes you might not build a really good team, but it's the best way to go ahead and get yourself a lot of point boost. So I'm utilizing this team here, 13.12 times multiply. Definitely not the highest multiplier that you can get, but it's the highest I can personally achieve, and it's done reasonably well, utilizing Rayleigh Captain with a friend Boa. We've got Boa Sub as well, and then treasure map Sabo, who's actually boosted in his own treasure map, 1.35 point booster, is also going to be really nice here. We've got Ace and Miss Valentine as well. So anyways, guys, I'm going to speed through this, and we'll be back once we've beaten Duval. Okay, so we've just beaten the Duval boss. Extremely easy, as you guys saw with that team. You can utilize your specials reasonably quickly. Obviously, we do have the cooldown reduction buff, but the Boa Hancock special is so useful for these mid-maps, because she is the highest point booster. She has her special ready to go as soon as you enter the dungeon, and her special is just phenomenal, especially because we are at a higher treasure map level now. She gives a 2.25 orb boost to our units. It's phenomenal, and that special ability just to manipulate all your orbs as well, it's so goddamn good. So we're going to beat Cavendish now, and then we'll be back once we've taken down Cavendish. Alright, so Cavendish has finally been taken down. Again, pretty easy stuff. Let's go ahead and move on here. Now, hopefully we get some good rolls, because if we do get really bad rolls and I see that I am about to arrive on like an attack down debuff, I usually will not even go for it at all. So if we get a 2, I'm probably not even going to verse the mini bosses, and it means we do have to do even more stalling on the final bosses. We do get a freaking 2. I'm trying to think if I do I have any like major powerhouse units that I have to really worry about? I don't think I do. For Duval, and then for Cavendish I've got the... yeah, I think it's okay. I think it's actually okay if I take the powerhouse debuff. I don't really have that many like really key powerhouse units on my teams at all, so I think that's fine. Yeah, I think I can actually take that. If that was like attack down Cerebral or attack down Shooter, I would definitely have skipped that. But, you know, attack down Powerhouse isn't actually that bad for me at all. So I'll take that. But now we're about to verse Kobe. Kobe at the mid-map boss is actually pretty annoying to take down. He has a really annoying ability for his preemptive attack in the mid-map that chains your captain for like 80 turns. So you don't have a captain. And for this specific team, it is quite annoying because Rayleigh is our captain, and he is the only captain that I use personally that is a boosting captain. You can see because Boa Hancock doesn't boost any attack for her captain ability. She only boosts belly received. So this is a little bit annoying, and it does rely on using specials heavily, but if you're not, you know, too confident in your team composition, then you can just go ahead and bring a really high friend captain that has a really high attack multiplier. But anyways, we'll speed this up now, and I'll see you guys once we finish Kobe. Alright, so Kobe has been taken down, and now we've got to verse Luffy coming up right now. Luffy is pretty simple, straightforward. He does very, very similar stuff in comparison to his mid-map and his final boss level. So we're going to go take on Luffy right now. Once again, we're going to speed this up, and then we'll be back, and then we'll go ahead and take on the Battle Rush as we explain those bosses in a little bit more detail. So let's go ahead and take down Luffy. Alright, so we've finally beaten Luffy, and we have to actually refill our stamina here, unfortunately. But now we're going to go ahead and move our way on to the final Battle Rush. So the Battle Rush against all of these bosses, and we are unfortunately going to be losing our cooldown buff to attack up for strikers. That's actually a really bad debuff for me. Well, not a bad debuff, a bad buff at all, but out of all the buffs, that's definitely ones that I really don't care about, considering that I don't really have that many, you know, good striker characters that need to be boosted anyways. But let's go ahead and move on to the Battle Rush against Sabo. So the first boss that we're going to be going in order from, you know, top down, left, right. So we're going to go ahead and start off with Duval. So Duval, I am going to be using a Treasure Map Ace team. This is a little bit different team than I was suggesting in my previous Treasure Map preparation video. This team just gives me more points. The Fujitora team can still last an extremely long time, like over level 150 at least, on this treasure map. But this team does give me vast majority more points in comparison to the Fujitora team. So that's the main reason why I'm using the Ace team. And it actually is really cool to finally use Treasure Map Ace in an actual team as the captain. He's really interesting, and one thing that I really wish that he did do was increase the chances of you landing on a strength orb, but unfortunately he doesn't do that. So you don't get strength orbs that often on this specific team, but when you do, you know, you do lots and lots of damage. Now people might be wondering, why the hell do I have Heracles on this team? There is no reason why Heracles is on this team. The only reason he's here is because I need to fulfill the condition for Ace's captain ability, where I have to have you know, one strength, psi, and quick character on my team. So Heracles here is just here to fulfill the condition, and that's literally it. Gear 4 is actually quite nice. He adds a nice amount of damage against Duval. And then Treasure Map Mihawk is mainly just here to do AoE damage to the mob characters to take them down. And then we have Bellamy here for an orb boost, but you know, Duval doesn't really have that much HP, so the orb boost isn't really required, but if you do need to go ahead and use it, then it's quite nice to have. So we're going to go ahead and take down this boss. We're going to stall one more turn to get our specials active, and then we can go ahead and take him down. And boom. Okay, so now we're against Duval. So Duval, he has a whole bunch of mob characters with him. He increases the chances of you landing on a negative orb, and he shuffles your orbs around. And then, well, what we're going to be doing here is using our Mihawk special, which just basically kills the mobs. It might actually kill Duval himself, just doesn't kill him. We can use a special here to just, you know, deal extra damage, but he really doesn't have that much HP remaining. But when you kill him, he will revive to just about at full health. He halves damage taken, and he also transforms his color into a Dex unit, which is why having a lot of strength characters is going to be very beneficial here. So first of all, we're going to go ahead and use the Gear 4 special to give us the color affinity. Make sure you use the Gear 4 special first, because if you use the Ace special, he transforms all your orbs, and then Gear 4 will shuffle them. So you want to use Gear 4 first to shuffle the orbs, then the Ace special to make them beneficial for all your strength orbs, and then you can use your Bellamy, because you got to make sure you use Bellamy last, because he will make certain other colored orbs beneficial, and then you won't get the strength beneficial with your strength orbs. So let's go ahead and just attack and do lots and lots of damage. Really easy there. Remember, we are navigation level 31, I believe it was. So yeah, at this current time, Duval is still extremely easy with this team, and it actually is a free-to-play team. You know, that's actually crazy that a team that this powerful, and it is free to play as well. So that is the team that I'm using against the Duval squad. Now let's go ahead and move on to the next one, which is going to be against Kobe. So with Kobe, I am using a Doflamingo V2 team. Now you don't have to have V2 Doflamingo yourself. You can use a friend one, along with like a Treasure Map Cavendish team. And this team is pretty straightforward. I don't actually need to stall with this specific team at all, because we did take down the mid-map boss as well. If I did not take down mid-map boss Kobe, I would definitely need to stall with this team to make sure I can get my specials active and be able to kill Kobe as quick as possible. But with this team, you know, you get given a full board of matching orbs with the preemptive attack of Kobe. If you guys don't know, his preemptive attack will go ahead and give you all Dex or Int orbs. So we have the Doflamingo Captain, who treats Quick as beneficial, and then we have the Pika here on our squad, who treats Int as beneficial for our driven characters. So it enables us to get a full board of orbs as soon as we get into the room against Kobe, so we don't need to bring any orb manipulators whatsoever. On stage 4 of the Kobe fight, right here, you can see that your chain will be locked for 20 turns. People might be wondering, how much is that chain lock? You can see it's a 1.1 chain lock for 20 turns. So that is extremely annoying, because it actually really lowers the amount of damage that you can output against Kobe. So you do have to take that into consideration here. But we are here now against Kobe. He obviously does the orb manipulation, and he will go ahead and cut our health in half. We can go ahead and just do some regular attacks and take him down reasonably quickly right there. Boom. That's it. And that's it against Kobe. Very, very straightforward team. And now let's move on to Cavendish. So against Cavendish, I am going to be going ahead and using a Treasure Map Sabo team. Now, if you are watching this and you're wondering, oh, what kind of team can I run because I don't have Sabo done yet, I actually run this Koala as a captain. Now, you guys might not know what she does, but she's a 2.75 int captain, and I used her up until I max Sabo and then run Sabo as the captain here. Obviously, when you're running a Sabo team, you need to run Cerebral units, but I do have Whitebeard on this team, Treasure Map Whitebeard, and people might be wondering, why would you bring him? He is mainly used just for his AoE damage on the final room that goes through barriers. That is very, very important, and a very, very key thing about that unit in particular is that his AoE damage does bypass the barriers. And not only that, is that if the enemy does have a delay or a debuff protector, you get a 2x orb boost as well. And we've got Nami here on our team, so we can go ahead and get a type boost. This team just does a lot of damage against Cavendish up until over definitely level 100. And it's just a really solid team all round. Caesar is on here just because he's just an int unit and he's a cerebral unit, and then we do have the Koala at the bottom, who actually is a chain booster, so you can actually go ahead and use her. She actually works really well on a Treasure Map Sabo team, boosting your chain, where Sabo already boosts his chain, but then if you have Koala, it boosts your chain even further. You don't want to be using chain lockers on a chain boosting captain team. It really hinders the amount of damage output that you get. So, we're going to keep on moving on here. We just want to make sure we do have our specials ready to go by the time we get to the final stage against Cavendish. We are getting really close. We're on stage 3 right now, so we could actually probably go ahead and move on. Boom. So now we need to stall one more turn here, and then we're ready to go. Now, it looks like we'll be able to get that last turn of stall. Boom. Okay, sweet. Okay, so when we use Whitebeard, we're going to hold off on using Whitebeard. We are not going to use him straight away, because if you do use it straight away, Whitebeard will also give himself only an attack boost if the enemy has a barrier. Now, we do not want that. We want to go ahead and use our Nami first, because she'll boost Cerebral characters' attack, and then we want to go ahead and use our Whitebeard to clear out the mob characters. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Mass amounts of damage, and then we can go ahead and use the conditional boost. Now remember, he does have a delay protector, not a full debuff protector, so that conditional boost from Sabo actually does activate, and then we can go ahead and use this special to go ahead and get a chain boost, and I mean, just from there, it's all over. Like, that was crazy. 2 taps for 2 million damage, and this team can last an extremely long time throughout the treasure map. So now let's move on to the final team, which is going to be against Monkey D. Luffy. So the team that I'm using against Luffy is going to be a double Frankie team. This team took me quite a while to try and configure and get what I really wanted on this team. Luckily, the old treasure map rare recruit Thatch is actually boosted. He's really nice for this team because, number one, he's a Dex character, and he's also an orb booster if the enemy has at least 4 enemies on their side of the field. Now, against Luffy, there is just a full board of enemies that you have to deal with, so having Thatch here is extremely useful. And then you've got Frankie, who is his crew's own attack booster, and he also does do a little bit of orb manipulation as well, so he's extremely useful for this specific fight. If you don't have Frankie yourself, again, you can use a friend captain. I know that finding, friend captains that that you don't have can be quite annoying, but I would highly suggest using a Frankie captain for this specific fight. It does help significantly, as when you use his captain action, you can go ahead and deal AoE damage just to all the mob characters and take them out extremely quickly. And you guys will see how quickly we can actually take down that final stage against Luffy. There is something else that you do need to keep in mind with this specific room, is on stage number 4, there is a mass debuff that will appear on your side of the field. So we're about to move on to stage 4 right now, and you guys will see it. This mob character will go ahead and lower your crew's attack and lower your crew's chain multiplier. And the multiplier of that is going to be basically cut in half. So you get half your chain and half of your attack for 20 turns. So that's really unfortunate. So you really have to make sure that you take that into consideration when you are damage calcing teams against this Luffy stage, because you lose half your attack and half your chain. So you lose a significant amount of damage on your team against here. So we're on the final stage against Luffy. We're going to use the attack boosting special of Frankie. He also does a 10% health cut, which is something to note as well. We're going to use the captain action to transform. We're going to use the Thatch special to go ahead and give us some matching orbs, as well as the orb boost. We can go ahead and use Sabo here. One key thing about Sabo is that when you go ahead and use an AoE attack with your Frankie, the tap timing bonus is applied to every single unit on the field, and you guys will see how crazy that actually is. So we're going to attack with Boa, and see this damage. Boom. Just one attack, clear the entire room. Frankie is actually really nice for treasure maps in all round. Like, Frankie's a really nice unit to have for treasure maps, and not even just for final boss fights, but for like the mid maps, because they're really low stage. So in stage 2 and stage 3, you can use the captain action and wave clear the room extremely quickly, and I really like that is a thing. Hopefully he's going to be continuously boosted, because in treasure maps he's phenomenal. But now we're into the final room, which is going to be against Sabo. So we are going to be running a V2 Rayleigh team with a friend Boa Hancock, the treasure map rare recruit Boa Hancock. Now, this team isn't going to be working for an extremely long amount of time, but still, on treasure map level 31, this team is still clearing it relatively easily. So you guys will see how easily this team is able to clear it still, which is actually really nice. It gives you a 10 times multiplier, and you are able to use some of these really cool characters like Colosseum Pedro, who the first time I'm using him, and he's really awesome. I'm enjoying him, and I haven't really used much of 6+ Crocodile yet, so I'm really enjoying using him as well. And having the 2 Boa Hancock specials is actually super duper useful, because you can use one on stage 4 for an orb boost and on stage 5 for an orb boost as well. We are also going to be using our Colosseum Pedro on stage 4 to lower our crew's HP, because on stage 4 of the fight we actually have to deal with an unevolved version of treasure map Sabo as the mini boss, and then we verse the evolved version on stage 5. So we're just going to be doing a little bit of stalling here. Need to make sure that we have our Pedro special when we get to stage 4. That has happened sometimes where I have forgotten to stall, and you move into stage 4 and you just have to wait a couple turns until your specials are ready to go. But we do have a 2-turn cooldown here on Pedro. Unfortunately, we won't be able to clear this room this turn, but we are able to move on now to stage number 4 against Sabo. And Sabo has an extremely annoying preemptive attack. You guys will see what he does, and this is why Miss Valentine is so important. Honestly, I feel like Miss Valentine is way more important than the 2x point boost to Boa Hancock this specific time around, just because she makes stage 4 just stupidly easy. So you get a 4-turn Captain Despair, and also a full 3-turn paralysis on your entire crew. So we're going to go ahead and use Miss Valentine, who just removes 3 turns of paralysis, 3 turns of despair. So as long as you have level 1 despair, you don't have to deal with that debuff at all. So Miss Valentine just makes it super duper easy. We're going to go ahead and use Pedro here, who does AoE damage as well as giving us color affinity, and he lowers our crew's HP, which is really key for our Rayleigh, because Rayleigh gives you the 3.5 times multiplier under 30% health. Then we can use a Boa Hancock special to give us an orb boost and also the orb manipulation, and we can go ahead and deal lots and lots of damage against Sabo with our strength characters, because of the color affinity as well and the orb boost. It just stacks up really, really well. Now we move on to the final boss against Sabo. His preemptive attack will go ahead and change all of our orbs into either block or colored orbs, which is perfect for Boa Hancock because she changed all of those into matching. He has a full debuff protector and a healing per turn buff, which I believe is 100,000 heal per turn. So we're going to use our 20% health cut and a 2x orb booster in 6+ Crocodile. We're going to change all of our orbs into matching as well as a 2.25 orb boost. And we're also going to be using this for our 3x chain multiplier lock. And then we can go ahead and have a good time against Sabo, dealing mass amounts of damage. Boom, 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 and boom. That's it. Now this team is working so well up until treasure map level 31. I'd imagine this would be working maybe in the 40s, maybe late 40s or maybe mid 40s. I feel like this team will drop off, and at that point I will probably switch out to just a double Rayleigh team and then using one of the Rayleigh specials instead of Boa on stage 4, and I feel like that's probably what I'll be doing. But that has been my entire run through of treasure map Sabo. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video, and if you guys have enjoyed it, make sure to smack the like button down below. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post on my channel, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.